Hi YouTube, it's Kathy, and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for February 25th through March 3rd. This week I read 3 books, I watched 1 TV show, I watched 1 movie, and I listened to 1 book. First this week I finished Bonfire by Kristen Ritter. This book is about a young lawyer who goes back to her small hometown after about a decade of not being there to try to solve an environmental issue that's been going on. While she's there, it's a small town and she dredges up some small town crap that she went through as a child. She also falls back into a mystery that she's been trying to forget about for her entire adult life. What I particularly like about this book is the narrator became quite unreliable, so you doubted the pieces of the puzzle that she was collecting. And when it wraps up, you come to find out why she had become so unreliable, and it makes a lot of sense. Besides her trusting a character near the end, which had me going, yeah, I know exactly how the rest of this novel is going to go down, this book was full of twists and turns that I appreciated. My next read this week was Do Not Disturb by A.R. Torr, which is the second in the Deanna Madden trilogy. This series follows a cam girl with murderous tendencies who has locked herself in her apartment for years in order to avoid killing people, and this is a continuation of that story. We see more of her cam girl work, more of her interactions with her people outside of work, and we have the antagonist, an aggressive, entitled rapist who has recently been released from jail on house arrest. I can't really tell you much else about the second book without potential spoilers for the first book. These books are dark and potentially traumatic, but if you haven't been triggered by what I've mentioned so far, these are dark contemporaries and page-turners. The final book I read this week was This Adventure Ends by Emma Mills. Julie over at Pages and Pens raved about this one a couple weeks ago, and I immediately put it on hold at the library. It centers Sloane, a high school senior whose family recently moved from New York to a small coastal town in order to help with her dad's job. He's a novelist but hasn't written anything of note since his last book was excoriated by critics. Sloane is encouraged to go to a party, and despite her best efforts to leave early, she winds up making friends. There is so much to love about this book. Sloane is hilarious to read. I chuckled out loud quite a few times while reading her dialogue. Her relationship with her father was endearing. Since he's in this writing rut, he's found this werewolf TV show, and the fandom behind it, and most importantly, the fan fiction behind it. I love a good read about fandom, and I loved how this book turned out. There are also queer characters in this book with absolutely no negative ramifications. Not a one. I would love to see more of this. I mentioned at the beginning that I watched 1 show this week, and it turns out the episodes I watched were very far apart in seasons. My Tuesday night dinner club is still slogging away at the first season of Survivor, where few people understand strategic voting. I also watched the first episode of Ghost Island, which is season 36, where players are superfans who have been watching the show since they were kids. In one case, the show is nearly as old as the contestant because although he told everyone he's 23, unless I heard his voiceover wrong, he's 18. The movie I watched this week not once, but twice in 24 hours was Black Panther. As you might know, this movie is fantastic. In case you're unaware of this cultural phenomenon, this Marvel Cinematic Universe movie follows T'Chaka, who up until recently was the prince of an African nation called Wakanda. His father, the king, recently died, so he is about to be coronated sovereign. Along with being the ruler of the nation comes the mantle of the Black Panther. An increased strength attained through ceremony and fortified through the technology of the country, which Wakanda has been hiding from the rest of the world forever. Wakanda is a ridiculously interesting setting. The tech was fantastic, the cast was beautiful and talented, and I think I now have a new favorite Disney princess. In fact, Letitia Wright also played a character that I loved in the last episode of Black Mirror, so Princess Shuri and Wakanda forever. Also, I've had this little riff of music from a very specific reveal in the movie stuck in my head, and I'm not mad about it. This week I listened to Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. This is a reread for me because this was one of my favorite books of last year, but I saw the audiobook was available through one of the apps through my library, and I could not hit the download button fast enough. This book is about Frances, who basically has 2 forms of herself. School Frances, who tries to get all the A's so she can get into Cambridge, and Home Frances, who nobody really knows except for her mom, who likes leggings and meme shirts and drawing fan art for this really cool online podcast. One day she's contacted by the anonymous creator of the podcast asking if she wants to do art for the podcast, which if you've ever been a fan of something you know is a huge deal. This book is about friendship and fandom and sexuality and learning when to lean on other people. It's just so great, and I keep seeing other people picking it up recently, and I'm so excited for them to read it. That's it for this week. Just a note for next week's video. It will either be in a different location, a different format, or a little bit of both. Because on Tuesday, I'm leaving my house at 3:30 in the morning to take a series of flights to Florida. And I'm so excited. I usually script and film these videos on Sundays so I can put them up early on Mondays. But I will be at Disney World on Sunday, so maybe I'll film it in the park, maybe I'll film it in our hotel room, maybe I'll film it on Monday when I'm no longer at Disney World, I don't know. Since I'll be traveling, that also means I'll likely have some extra videos coming up soon, so be sure to travel vicariously through me. If you read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you next time. Bye!